All right. Welcome again to Friday Movie Recaps. Let me start today by thanking all our subscribers. You are doing well. And also to welcome you that just tuned into our channel. Do well to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. You will not regret this. All right, let's tune in. Today I'll be recapping a movie titled Old Firewood. Story by Adekunle Salau. Produced and directed by Paul Igwe. The full length of the original movie is 1 hour 58 minutes 16 seconds. But like I usually say, you don't have to worry. With Friday Movie Recaps, everything is going to be summarized in just few minutes from now. Nicholas and his friend Sonny get paid to entertain people in parties with their clown costumes. It is morning and Nicholas tells Sonny to get up and get dressed for a roadshow contract they got. But Sonny says he isn't going, that he is tired out of the stress from the previous night's party they performed in. Besides, he says this is not what brought him to Lagos. He came to Lagos to chase his dream of becoming a stand-up comedian, and that the little amount gotten from this so-called job isn't even encouraging. Nicholas tells him to stop complaining, for they need the job to keep body and soul together, pending when better job will come. He saw that Sonny was bent on not going, so he decided to go alone, leaving Sonny behind. Mr. Alex is ready for work, and Debbie, his wife, raised up the issue of her being bored staying at home all day. She reminds him of the supermarket she have asked him to open for her, but he dismisses the discussion and leaves for work, saying he is running late. Sonny is home rehearsing his stand-up comedy dream when the landlady interrupted him when she knocked at the door and came in. She says she wants them to entertain the children at her granddaughter's birthday party coming up soon. But Sonny says no, he doesn't do it. It is Nicholas who does. But that if she have any big people parties like weddings, housewarming, pool party, she should let him know. Landlady is angry that they performed for Mama Chidera last month at her daughter's party, and now he doesn't want to do that for her, the landlady. Sonny says Nicholas forced him to do that one. Let her talk to Nicholas about it when he comes back home. She excuses herself and left. Debbie's husband, Mr. Alex, in the office, picks up a call and sets up a meeting with the person in a certain hotel while he waits for traffic to come down before he leaves for home. Landlady tells Nicholas about the party she wants him to entertain. Nicholas gives her the price for a total package, which is 200,000 naira. But she is not accepting such amount and rather offers to give 15,000 naira out of it. Nicholas is not taking it funny. He sees it as an insult as he reports it to Sonny. Sonny says he needs to start thinking of changing profession because he cannot achieve anything with 15,000 naira. Debbie's husband comes back home looking stressed. He complains of the traffic and says he needs a driver. Debbie notices that her husband wasn't wearing his wedding ring, but he says he could have forgotten it at home before he left for work. Debbie remembers she saw the ring on his finger in the morning, just before he left for work. He fakes tiredness and leaves for the room. When he got into the room, he quickly searched for the ring in his pockets. When he finally saw it, he quickly placed it in the drawer. In the morning, he calls an agency to get him a driver, giving them the description of his spec. Debbie tells him to please consider opening the business for her, but he doesn't want her to work. He offered her a vacation instead, but she refused. He says he makes enough money for both of them, so she'd rather be happy and stop being ungrateful. Obviously, Nicholas have taken Sonny's advice and so is dressing up to go job hunting. He advises Sonny to join him, but he refuses, saying that isn't what brought him to Lagos. Moreover, he is preparing for an open mic show coming up today, and he wants Nicholas to be his first audience. But Nicholas walks away. Debbie complains to her friend Lola about her husband's refusal to open a supermarket for her, and he's rather offering her to go for a vacation, and further calls her ungrateful for refusing the offer. Lola advises her to take the vacation money and open the business instead, but Debbie objects it since it will be without his consent, saying she can't lie to her husband. At night, Debbie brings up the same issue again, telling him that he can use the vacation money to set her up for business. But he tells her it is high time she starts worrying her head over something more meaningful and important in their marriage, and left her wondering what it is as he dismisses the discussion. Nicholas is dressing up again for job hunting. Sonny have gone to the open mic and is back telling Nicholas, who asked him, that the audience were biased. Nicholas still tells him that they need a steady source of income. The rent is about to expire next month and the bills won't pay themselves. Debbie tells Lola that her husband is beginning to blame her for their childlessness, although he didn't say it directly, but she could read in between the lines. She also said she suspects Alex is having an affair. This took her friend by surprise. Landlady serves Nicholas a quit notice, saying she have the right to do whatsoever she wishes in her house, Same way he has the right to refuse to help with her daughter's birthday party. Lola asked Debbie how she knew Alex is having an affair, or is she just imagining things? But she said she sees the signs. He makes suspicious phone calls. She sees hotel receipts in his pockets. She sometimes smells the woman all over him. And sometimes she thinks he deliberately brings back those evidences to rub it at her face. Nicholas and Sonny hears the sound of music coming from the compound. Nicholas tells Sonny that it is the landlady's granddaughter's birthday party. He hands him over his costume to wear so they could go out and entertain them. But Sonny refuses, saying there is no way he's going to wear that again and fool himself before kids, especially when it is for peanuts. Nicholas informs him that the landlady already handed them a quit notice last week, and so if he doesn't want to be homeless, he had better get up and go with him. They both dresses up, and Sonny reluctantly followed him out. Mr. Alex is on phone with his agent concerning the search for a driver. He tells him he needs a young and agile man in his mid-30s. Debbie offered to be his driver, saying it's a win-win situation since she's bored home and wants to go out, and he deadly needs a driver. She can achieve hers and he can achieve his. He seriously warns her that it should be the last time she brings up the topic of her getting a job, else she will see the other side of him which she will not like. Nicholas shows up in Alex's office for the driving job. Mr. Alex asked him to come back by evening to drive him home in order to test his driving skills and his knowledge about the streets of Lagos before he will know if he will finally give him the job or not. Nicholas is so excited about this job as he tells Sonny about it. Sonny says their aspirations are clearly different as he sees Nicholas' excitement towards an 80,000 naira salary work when his own eyes are of a six-figure earnings. Nicholas tells him to learn how to crawl first before flying and walked off to drive Alex home, which he did smoothly. Mr. Alex is so happy and compliments him for it. He tells him to come into the house, let him introduce him to his wife as his newly employed driver. Nicholas is so happy. They go into the house together. Mr. Alex climbs up the stairs to go inform Debbie while Nicholas waited downstairs. Alex is behaving very happy, leaving Debbie to wonder why he is home so early and very happy. He finally tells her that his driver did the magic and she should go down to meet with him while he picks up a call from his phone to join them down later. Meanwhile, downstairs, Nicholas sees Debbie's portrait on the wall and gets up to take a closer look. She looked familiar, and just then, Debbie walked in and also recognized him. They both are surprised. It happens that they had an affair a long time ago, and it ended when Debbie got pregnant and Nicholas asked her to abort it, for he isn't ready to father a child yet, considering the ill state of things with him. But she refused, so Nicholas broke up with her and left. Back to present, Debbie says what a small world. Nicholas begs her not to take the job away from him, for he badly needs it and it is the best thing that have happened to him in a very long time. She says he knows his husband surely will not allow that if he knows he is her ex-boyfriend. Mr. Alex walks in, while Debbie angrily left the scene. Reminiscing over the state of things at home, Sonny asked Nicholas if that means he had lost the job already, but he says he doesn't know, as he begged her not to tell her husband about it. Sonny tells him to resume work tomorrow in order to know his fate. Debbie sits on the bed looking unhappy. Husband notices it and asks what it is, also pointing out how she acted unfriendly towards his driver earlier. She says he knows she have not been in support of him hiring a driver, and moreover, she isn't expected to be friendly with his driver. Just then, a strange phone rang in the room. She asks him who had the phone. He says he just got it about a week ago, strictly for business purposes, as it isn't everyone he wants to have access to his private line. She looked at him suspiciously. In the morning, Debbie opens the door to the presence of Nicholas, who came to resume work. She walked away rudely. While on their way to work, Alex called someone on phone asking the person why he called at such a time in the night, when he had told him never to call when he is at home in such an odd time, making his wife start becoming suspicious, knowing he has a second phone. Debbie tells Lola about Nicholas, who showed up as her husband's driver, and how she doesn't know how she haven't yet told Alex about it. But her friend told her to keep it a secret and not tell Alex, since Nicholas have begged her and obviously needs the job badly. While at the office, Mr. Alex remembers he has left an important document he needed for a meeting at home. He calls Nicholas and sends him home to get it from his wife. Nicholas gets home and Debbie opened the door, directing him to the table to pick the document. He called her by her name, Debbie, but she hushed him, saying he should refer to her as Madam or Mrs. Wellington. So he did that, and first thanked her for not telling her husband about their past, and said if she doesn't mind, he would like to ask her something based on a personal level. But she refuses to oblige to any personal level, else he will lose his job, and so he left. He recounts his experience to Sonny. Sonny says he shouldn't worry, she will soon come around, but that if you ask him, he will say she still loves him, reason why she didn't tell her husband about their past. Nicholas doesn't think so. Lola advises her to stop cooking Alex's food and stop her wifely duties for at least a month until he changes his mind and allows her to work. Debbie is shocked and says that is so extreme. Alex comes home to meet Debbie and Lola at the living room. He tells Lola to go repack her car so that his driver can drive in his car. But she says no problem, she's already on her way home. She goes out and looked admiringly at Nicholas, who was patiently waiting for her. Sonny is not happy. He recounts his ordeal at an open mic he went for, saying they practically stoned him with sachet water on stage, and that in fact his comedy career is dead. He had actually been thinking of getting a regular paying job, he said. He now began to instigate Nicholas to rekindle the affair he had with Debbie, as it is a sure way to living this poverty-stinking life, as she will be sending him some money. On bed, Debbie tries to speak to Alex again concerning her stay-at-home all-day predicament, but he waves it away again and goes to bed. While Debbie was cooking, she remembers Lola's advice that she should stop cooking and doing her wifely duties for Alex. She ignores it anyway. She comes out of the kitchen to find Nicholas standing at the living room, waiting for his boss. She asked him to come have breakfast, but he declined. She further asked him about his mom that was battling with kidney problem. He said she didn't make it. She passed on early last year. She is sorry about it and continued what she was doing. He collects the car keys from Alex and goes to get the car prepared while Alex had his breakfast. Debbie isn't smiling. She quietly gets up, picked up Alex's coat, and goes to wait for him at the exit door. She visualized how the whole scenario would play out. How she would tell him that she won't let him go anywhere until he tells her why he doesn't want her to work, and how it ended with Alex beating her up. She changed her mind as Alex came and asked her why she is standing at the door. She said, well, to help him get to the door. She helped him with his coat and bidded him goodbye. Sonny is on phone with Nicholas, who told him that Debbie offered him breakfast and even asked him about his late mother. Sonny says it is a green light she is showing him already, that he should take hold of the opportunity, go to the house and pay her a visit. Debbie opens the door and asks him what he is doing there. He says he wants to talk, but Debbie refused him entering the house, so he spoke from outside, asking for forgiveness over the past. She says she has forgiven him and have proven it by allowing him to work for his husband. He also asked about the pregnancy that caused their breaking up in the first place. She says she got rid of it, a decision she regrets and haven't been able to forgive herself ever since then. He asked for her number, but she refused and shut the door at him. Sonny says to Nicholas he shouldn't have left when she closed the door at him. He asked him to go back there in the morrow and pick up from where he left and make sure he hugs or kisses her to get something started before he comes back home. Nicholas drops off Alex in a hotel. Alex says the meeting is going to take a while, possibly more than an hour. Nicholas sights Lola's car beside his. He gets out to confirm the plate number, which he did. It's another day, and Nicholas drops off Alex in the same hotel again, and still sights Lola's car when the latter got home, and he was alone with Debbie. He sees the opportunity to ask her if Lola is managing a hotel, but she says no, she rather runs a salon. Why the strange question, she asked, but it dawned on Nicholas what her car must have been doing in that hotel. So he quickly said nothing and left, leaving Debbie to wonder. Nicholas tells Sonny about it, and Sonny says this will work to their favor. If he can prove to Debbie that his husband is having an affair with her friend, she might want to get back at him by accepting to have an affair with Nicholas. In the morning, while Nicholas was washing the car, Debbie came to him asking him to explain the reason for the question about her friend working in a hotel. He says nothing. He was just confused about something. She asked him if he still wants her number. He happily replied yes, and she gave him the number in a paper. Nicholas is very happy about it. Later, Nicholas calls Debbie for a chit-chat, but Debbie is more concerned on the issue of the hotel business and Lola. He is disappointed she confirmed that's the reason why she accepted to give him her number. She insisted he tells her what is going on, but he faked running out of airtime and cut the call. Inside the office, Alex writes a check and hands it over to Lola, who is so happy and professes her love for him. But Alex says, let him be frank here. He is not in love with her. But yes, she makes his sex life interesting. And that is all about it. Later, Debbie calls back Nicholas. She says there must be a reason for his question the other day. That she is not a child. But he says he doesn't want to lose his job. Debbie says if she wants him to lose his job, she can influence that easily. He then reluctantly tells her that every Wednesdays and Fridays, he drives her husband to a certain hotel and Lola's car is always parked there. She asked him if he is sure it is her car. He says that the plate number confirmed it and that even right now, Lola is at Alex's office. Debbie is greatly pained and began to sob. She begged him to please send her the address of the hotel, but he is worried that Alex will know he told her. She says no, she have always known that her husband is having an affair for the past 1 year, but she have never confronted him. Next, Lola comes visiting Debbie as usual, and the two friends are all playful. Debbie says she have a very juicy gist for her, but they need to have it over a drink. So she goes to get the drink. She stares at the drink in the cup angrily, and then finally comes out with it. Debbie asks Lola if it hurts more when someone you trust betrays you. Lola says, of course, that is why it is called betrayal. She went ahead to say she had found out who the mystery mistress was. Lola is shocked and tensed on hearing that. Debbie said she trailed his car and got to know that they meet every Wednesdays and Fridays at a certain hotel. At this point, Lola already knew she was referring to her, and so she excused herself to leave. But Debbie stopped her and asked her why she would do such a thing as a friend. Lola says she can't blame her for also wanting something good for herself, as good men are hard to find, and that she might consider her a best friend, but she doesn't feel the same way. Debbie asked, is that why she have been giving her all those silly advices? Telling her to stop performing her wifely duties, to fight her husband, to keep her ex as driver? Lola was about to go when it dawned on her that Debbie might have poisoned the drink, and so she halts and asked her if she did so. But Debbie laughed and said she actually had that thought, but she won't allow her turn her into a murderer, but that she promises her she would die a shameful death. And then she asked her to get out of her house and her life. Alex is back and is pleading with Debbie to forgive him, that Lola was the one that threw herself at him. Debbie asked if he loves her, but he says no, it was just a stupid affair. She gets an envelope from the drawer and hands it over to him. But he is hesitant, saying he won't give her a divorce if that is what is in it. But she commands him to take it and open. He opens, and behold, it was a pregnancy test that is positive. 7 weeks gone, she said. He is happy, but Debbie says she is not keeping the child of a man who is cheating on her with her friend. Alex goes on his knees, begging her to forgive, for he would do anything to earn her forgiveness. Is it opening the supermarket for her? It is done. Whatever she asks, he will do. In the morning, Alex sends for Nicholas. He asked him if it is true that he is his wife's ex-boyfriend. Nicholas is shocked and is almost peeing in his pants. Alex continued, saying because of that, it is inappropriate to work for him anymore. Nicholas begs him, saying the job is the only source of livelihood he has. So he added that they have discussed with his wife, who had insisted he finds him another job. So he will be sending him to his friend's beverage company, where he will earn even more than what he earns here. Nicholas is grateful. Alex hands him a check of 200,000, saying it is his salary for the month and a little something on top. Nicholas is super grateful. Debbie sees him off, and while outside, he apologizes for how he treated her in the past. He says she have shown him kindness even when he doesn't deserve it. She says no, she should be the one more grateful, because if not for him, she wouldn't have known the devil she calls a friend. They bidded farewell, and he left. And here ends the story. Thank you for following to the end. Thank you again, my subscribers. And I still urge you who just tuned in newly, please, before you leave, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. You can also like, comment, and share. Those acts will be so welcomed. Thank you, and bye.